Okay. We're live 15 out of 15. We should have Rumble going. And I should have audio here. I've got a video up on screen. It is Lee Camp. I was watching it. Okay. Just talking about some stuff. We're live 15 out of 15. Just checking the sound here. We should have Rumble going. Seems fine. Sound seems fine. I'll enable chat and turn the volume down here so we don't get blasted. When the first chat comes through, we'll be on the there it is, Google Chrome.
Hey Nay, so noticed the Rumble notifications always hit first, then Twitter, then Facebook in last.
Yeah, I go live on Rumble first.
Branco. What's up, yo?
Hey Bronco, long time to see, brother. Nice to see you again. Hello, Bronco. I'm glad you're here. Let's get some of these up here, and I'll get this on there. Okay, we'll see if we can fix this. Look at that. That's nice. There we go, and we've got the crypto screen over here.
Schizo.
Hey, man, what's up, brother? Jiminy is showing up like to every show. I love it, man. Jiminy is like on top of it. I freaking love it, bro. I love it. So that is a good thing. Making it to every show is not easy, but it does have an impact on me, right? Man, I remember back in the day,
John Welder.
We used to have...
So then Twitter wins the notifications.
Back in the David C. Baker Jr. days, you know, in the David C. Baker Jr. days, we used to have people that would show up to every show religiously. That was a good time, man. We would get 50 people, we'd be live. You're working from home, so you're back. So then Twitter wins the notifications against Facebook and YouTube. Really, Twitter wins. Twitter with the first notification.
Nick Brown.
Nick.
Hey, brother.
Oh, I was just thinking about you. What's up? When I was talking about David C. Baker days, that's when Nick got involved in the show. Right about the time all those people were leaving, they all got all jealous because Nick Brown was showing them a real way to support. And they all got jealous and left. And they're like, well, looks like Nick's got this, so we're all just going to leave. Nick ran like 20 regulars out. You're worth it, too. You're worth every single one of them, bro.
Casper Schizo. Oh yeah, man, back in the day we had our army of regulars.
Hey, J-Rock, what's up?
FJA Rocks T-Gem.
Nick Brown, yo. You know what? If people like... people like Casper Schizo start showing up on the rag,
Nick Brown,
we'll blow it up again. We just need numbers, man. Nick Brown shows up almost every show. You show up almost every show.
Cheers, bro. Let's get stoned.
We'll start noticing who the people are that show up every show. J-Rock is showing up a lot. You know, Sean, Trendy Orca, he shows up a lot. You know, Josh G, Patrick John Welder. I'd like to have a list of all those people, of all the, you know, and have like a special elite list of people that get notified. That I know they're going to get notified, but who knows? They're going to go out of their way to try to make a show.
FJA Rocks T-Gem. I can't make every show, but I pop in when I'm at the PC.
I like that you pop in when you can.
Casper Schizo. Let's do it, man. A bit older now, but it's cool to smoke with the trendies. FJA Rocks T-Gem. Discord works for my end. Nick Brown. Hashtag Trend Highlights. Jeffrey Barkley. Hey, Nay. How's it going?
Jeffrey Barkley. What's up, Jeffrey? How's it going, man? Watching the price of crypto drop, settle back down a little bit.
Rocks T-Gem.
We waiting for that
I start seeing messages pop up and know there's a show on Tears of Joy.
I start seeing messages pop up. Yeah, man, you start getting all those notifications. That's the whole thing, right? It's all those notifications. So this is this right here is Lee Camp explaining why the United States is still in Syria. I'm going to listen to this while I do a bong rip.
Experts underscored that people in targeted countries like Venezuela, Cuba, Syria, and Iran sink into poverty because they can't get essential services like electricity, housing, water, gas, and fuel, let alone medicine and food. Food, medicine, fuel. I mean, do you have any idea how important electricity is? I was in New York City during the blackout. It lasted 47 hours, and by the end of it, half of us were married to people we'd never met, and we were eating stale hot dog buns we stole from a homeless guy who'd been using them as insulation in his jacket. It was horrible. The U.S. also passed the so-called Caesar-Syria Civilian Protection Act in 2019, imposing secondary sanctions.
No longer got
on
to canvas. Everybody smoke along. Cheers.
Deal with the Syrian government.
We're calling this one top of the hour, even though I know it's 7:10. We're smoking. We're catching it. We're playing catch up.
Meanwhile, according to the UN rapporteur, maintaining such sanctions may amount to crimes against humanity. So, one may at some point ask, what does the U.S. actually want in Syria? In fact, German outlet Deutsche Welle asked recently, what does the U.S. actually want in Syria? U.S. troops have been stationed in Syria since 2015, and in 2018, the Washington Post said U.S. troops will now stay in Syria indefinitely.
We're there for revenge.
A third of the country. But luckily, last year, the U.S. government reviewed their goals. They came up with 4 priorities in Syria. First was continuing to fight ISIS, and thank God, because every American has had a tough time with ISIS recently. I mean, I was at a movie theater in Newport News a couple weeks ago just trying to catch the latest
Racist is awesome,
flick.
bro.
The place was crawling with ISIS fighters. Can't get a popcorn because ISIS took it all. Can't make out with your kid's nanny in the back row of the theater because ISIS is already in the back row making out with their nannies. Can't use the bathroom because ISIS closed it down to clean it. But still, other than ISIS, American priorities in Syria include supporting local ceasefires, stabilizing the area and helping with humanitarian aid and access, as well as pressing for accountability and respect for international law while promoting human rights and non-proliferation. Stabilizing the area? The U.S. is the largest destabilization force in the world. We're like the broken stiletto of countries, and here we are telling everyone we're there to stabilize things? We funded and armed terrorists that caused this war in the first place while calling them moderate rebels.
Isn't that funny? It sounds like every other war we've ever been involved in. You know, it doesn't matter if you're talking about Vietnam or fucking Ukraine. It's all the same, dude. We fund the moderates, you know, the rebels, and then they take over the government, and then they turn out to be even worse than the people that were in power, with our money and our weapons backing them now. And we'll never learn, and we have to keep interfering and keep interfering and keep interfering, and we'll just never step out of the ring, man.
We also say we're there to help with humanitarian aid and...
Just grabbed a fresho. Zedab ice cream Keiko MG dude, this batch has terps like crazy.
Nice, I love that strain.
Access? We're the catastrophe! We're why they need humanitarian aid. Claiming we're there to give humanitarian aid is like leprosy telling you it's on your body to help you find the body parts that fell off. Yeah, it's a good thing I'm here to help you look for those fingers.
That's funny.
I'm on the case, buddy. You leave it to me.
He's talking like he's like
tried calling him? You know how it's easy to tell we're not in Syria to help people? We're on the same side as Al-Qaeda. Seriously. In fact, thanks to WikiLeaks, we have an email from Jake Sullivan to Hillary Clinton. At the time, Jake Sullivan was Obama's policy planner. Then under Trump, he was, I think, a junior manager at an Applebee's maybe. And now under Biden, he's national security advisor. He wrote to Hillary, Al-Qaeda is on our side in Syria. Wow, tough to misinterpret that. So the American government is on the same side as terrorists in Syria. They're on the same side as Nazis in Ukraine.
Right.
They're on the same side as murderous butchers like Saudi Arabia.
Right.
Same side as the worst polluters in the world. Same side as sexual predators like Joe Biden and...
Just like I said, it's just like all the other... I haven't seen this yet. It's just like all the other wars we fought everywhere else, right? It's the same MO. We're serial warriors, man, you know?
Donald Trump, but... Our government is on the opposite side from truth tellers like Julian Assange.
Like Bill Burr, kinda.
Bill Burr? Yeah. He sees way more into hypocrisy than Bill Burr does. Bill Burr is like a surface reactionary, and Lee Camp is like someone who understands geopolitics. You can't even compare the two people. There is another comparison to be made. Bill Burr is funny as shit, Lee Camp needs to work on it some more. He needs to work on his comedy a little bit more, I think. He's no Bill Burr when it comes to being hilarious. That's for sure.
Snowden,
just keeping it real, Lee. Just keeping it. I gotta keep it real.
Octopus who predicted the World Cup winner.
Bill Burr was on freaking Breaking Bad for a reason.
Trying to save the planet. They arrest people trying to feed the homeless. You can learn a lot about someone by the friends they keep. Remember that photo of Ellen DeGeneres hanging out with George W. Bush?
Yes.
I never trusted Bush again.
I never trusted Bush.
So now that it's quite clear America's stated reasons for being in Syria and waging economic war against them are bullshit, what are the real reasons? Well, one is to steal some fresh oil. Just this summer, U.S. troops looted 84 oil tankers from Syria and smuggled them into Iraq. In fact, the U.S. controls 90% of Syrian oil. The actions carried out by the U.S. constitute state piracy with the aim of plundering Syria's oil reserves and depriving the Syrians of their own resources. I mean, what's the point of destroying millions of lives if you aren't going to plunder a little bit, right? But the truth is, stealing oil is just a side hobby for the U.S., like crafting dolls out of scabs is for me. The real reason we've destroyed Syria is to protect our dollar, and by extension, our power. U.S. power comes partially from the petrodollar. Most oily countries that drop the petrodollar are later invaded or otherwise attacked by the U.S. A couple of years ago, before the U.S. invasion of Iraq, Iraq dumped the U.S. dollar for the euro. Before the U.S. and NATO invaded Gaddafi's Libya and saw him murdered in the streets, he had been working on a plan to switch much of Africa
we're running late.
Gold currency. In 2000,
we're running late. I know it's quarter of the hour. We're behind. It's 7:10 though, and we're playing a little catch up. Yeah. Just go ahead and grab that bong of yours and let's do a bong hit. Okay. Yeah. Why is the wall to your cubicle knocked down?
Cheers.
No law regarding cannabis. Cheers. That's such a funny thing. Why is the wall to your cubicle knocked down, dude? What happened here, Peter? No law regarding... We'll get somebody to clean this up. No law regarding cannabis. Everybody cheers. Cheers. Everybody in the chat. Casper Schizo, Casper Schizo, Casper Schizo, Casper Schizo, Casper Schizo. And everybody on Rumble, that's nobody that's chatting yet. Cheers, you guys. But 5 of you are watching, so cool.
Nick Brown. Cheers. Casper Schizo. Lol, go ahead, Lil Will NNNNNYAAAAA.
Before our recent aggressions towards Iran, including Trump's assassination of their top general with a drone bomb, Iran had stopped selling oil in petrodollars. And before our invasion of Syria back in 2006, Syria stopped selling oil in dollars. Much like this shirt, I'm starting to see a disgusting pattern. Also might be that guy's. There are also some other reasons the U.S. empire shat on Syria, such as turning it into a nearly failed state and left Iran alone in the region as a counter to U.S.-Israel hegemony. Look, I don't love saying it, but our American government will watch as hundreds of thousands of children starve to death if they think it will help consolidate the U.S. empire's power just a little bit. As Madeleine Albright once said, we think it's worth it. And that is why they won't leave Syria alone.
Stop buying random crypto. This might be interesting to watch.
So there's many different ways of building and getting started in crypto for 2023, and in today's video I'm going to go through how to start your crypto portfolio and build your crypto portfolio for 2023. My name is Tom, this is Crypto Busy. If you're new here and you want to see more videos like this, be sure to subscribe to Crypto Busy today and join the Crypto Busy family. And if you like the video, make sure to leave a like, it's very much appreciated, and also do comment down below your thoughts and opinions. So with that all being said, I'm going to go through exactly how to build your crypto portfolio for 2023. So when you have a look at CoinMarketCap, I'll leave that link down in the description below. It's a very useful website. You can go through
well, this ICC is 28.3% and I'm
now,
staring
ultimately,
at my
if you own
shoelaces.
a Bitcoin or a bit of Bitcoin, it could be a fraction of it, you're ultimately building up your crypto portfolio. You've already diversified your holdings, which is a very big thing. Many people tend to oversee that. So if they hold a bit of Bitcoin, you've actually diversified your investments, which is a big step in the right direction, in my opinion. Now, none of this is financial advice. I'm not a financial advisor, and all investments have their own risks to it. So I'm going to go through also a strategy of building a low to medium to high risk portfolio. So just go through that in much further detail. When it comes to building your low risk portfolio, you really want to split it up into different sort of sections. So you've got your low risk. So your low risk really is a 50-50 split between your Bitcoin and Ethereum. That is ultimately your lowest risk possible when it comes to crypto. Even lower than that could be just be holding 100% crypto or 100% Bitcoin, and you'd be considered a Bitcoin maximalist. But for the majority of us out there, you also want to build your money to be a bit higher. So also spreading the risk across Ethereum as well is a good bet, in my opinion. So Ethereum currently trading at around $1,200, and it is considered a bit of a blue chip when it comes to crypto. And when it comes to crypto, ultimately you don't have a look at the price. Don't look at the price, have a look at the market cap when it comes to cryptocurrencies. So Ethereum is pretty much half of Bitcoin's market cap. Okay. And ultimately, what's the multiplier of that market cap when it comes to a crypto portfolio? That's super important when looking into that as well. Having a look into the ecosystem of Ethereum, there's a...
Dude, he says market cap is really important, and then he doesn't really tell you why. What the hell was that? I want to know why market cap's important.
You can hold some stable coins if you want to. That is also possible. I mean, these portfolios don't take into account stable coins. They just take into account a pure crypto holding. So something like XRP, for example, is again sort of a medium risk because of the SEC lawsuit that's happening for XRP, but has a potential higher reward or higher return in the future. So that's a big thing. Cardano as well, likewise, they're not being sued by the SEC, but they're not being sued at all. But they're also developing the network and trying to find that adoption rate. That is super important. And then also others as well. I mean, Solana has had a huge difficulty recently with their network. So again, the risk is starting to increase the further down you go into the list on CoinMarketCap. So then moving on to your high risk. This is where you start to split up your $1,000 into different sections. So you have just again an equal holdings of Bitcoin, Ethereum, XRP, for example. It could be Cardano, it could XRP, whatever. So a top 20, for example, and then a low cap altcoin, and then a micro cap altcoin. So the difference between a low cap altcoin and a micro cap altcoin does differ to depend on who you ask. But sort of a low cap altcoin could be somewhere anywhere between sort of $500 to $1 billion in terms of market cap. So it could be Hollow, for example. It could be it could be Zilliqa, for example, as well, just to pick one out of the top of my head. Engine Coin, that could be sort of a low cap, and then you've got a micro cap.
This guy talks a lot and doesn't say anything. You guys notice that about this dude? Is anybody noticing that about this guy? I'm not learning anything. He's not. You know what it said? It said, stop buying random crypto. Learn how to build your portfolio. He starts mentioning a bunch of cryptos, and then on every crypto he mentions, he says, yep, can't use that one. He's like, oh, yeah, this one's not getting any better. Oh, this one, can't trust this one anymore. Yep, this one's failing. Oh, yep, this one's kind of going downhill. And you're like, so when's the part that I'm actually building my portfolio going to start? This is kind of weird.
Schizo. Yes.
Okay, well, let's just see if he goes anywhere, because I'm going to give him, he's got 5 more minutes.
could be anywhere between sort of 50 to 100 million dollars in terms of its market cap, and that is where the risk really starts to ramp up, and that is where people tend to look into the meme coins for microcap, because again the potential for the return is much higher, but also the potential for loss is also much higher as well. So
he's so far he said this is how you're going to build your crypto portfolio, and now once again he's talking about coins that he's not recommending.
Risk is much higher in your high risk portfolio when it comes to the microcap, because again, the teams
can't wait till we get to the portfolio building part.
They might have,
and then we can compare it to my portfolio.
On top of that, the partnerships not may be the same, the community may not be the same. It's a big thing when it comes to the microcaps and also the low caps compared to Bitcoin or Ethereum, where it is starting to become a household name and everybody knows what Bitcoin is, or have heard of it at least, and that is the big thing, and the difference between the high risk and the low risk portfolio. So all of these come with risk. Risk is still a word, or a phrase, a word within that phrase of low risk. There's still a risk when it comes to it. But then also, in my opinion, there's still a risk when it comes to holding cash in your bank account because of inflation. So inflation is eating away at your cash. And so there's always a need, there's a want to diversify your earnings and putting them into elsewhere. The stock market, crypto, could be whatever. So the next question you may have for me is, well, okay, at the moment, it's very hard to make extra money or find extra money for the time being. Ultimately, I would prioritize paying the bills first. Pay off any debt I may have. Pay that off first. Then pay the bills. Make sure the bills are paid for. All of that. That is super important. Once the debt and the bills are looked after, then have a look into diversifying your portfolio, or at least diversifying your workflow. So you may have a job, and then have a look into that job. What can you cut out from your monthly outgoings? And then from that, could you find, let's say another type of job? Maybe you find sort of an entrepreneurial type of job.
I need a bong rip. This guy's just wasting my time, man.
Maybe it might be a digital product. It could be a physical product. But ultimately, that's how some money can be made, and you could use that money.
This guy says, stop buying random crypto, right? He says, learn how to build your portfolio in 2023. And now he's gone on for 7 minutes and 36 seconds. Dude, he's only got 3 minutes left. He's got less than 3 minutes left. And I'm waiting for the part where he's going to teach me how to build my portfolio in 2023. And tell me what random crypto not to buy, like it says in his title. It's really weird. He's just been talking about nothing.
To reinvest back in your own business or reinvest into
I want the meat.
Crypto
no longer regarding
so that
cannabis.
Is also a way of going into it. So
Enoch, Casper,
sure
everybody in the
chat.
chat,
Guys, is that there's
Dave
also
Campione and Rumble.
Making money.
Cheers.
Ultimately, your job
Cheers,
is
everybody.
the number one priority to make sure that you keep hold of, because that provides that consistent cash flow. And then have a look into looking into something else that could maybe also provide that consistent cash flow. And then again, pay off the debts, pay off the bills, make sure those are all sorted. Then have a look into diversifying, or look into the stock market, or let's say real estate, or with crypto. So hopefully I've made sense in today's video. If I haven't, do comment down below your thoughts and opinion.
Enoch YU Beaslin 420. Cheers, brother. Dave C. Fishing. Cheers.
He says this is not financial advice, then goes on to give you no fucking advice at all. It's like it's not even worth me writing a comment about. He's got 210,000 subscribers.
Casper Schizo. I gained zero knowledge from that video.
Did I fix it? Did I fix it?
Billy Valentine. What up?
Hey, Billy.
Casper Schizo. Fixed it.
Okay.
Enoch, why you Beaslin 420? Yup, all good.
When it comes to building your low risk portfolio, you really want to split it up into different sort of sections. So you've got your low risk. So your low risk really is a 50-50 split between your Bitcoin and Ethereum. That is your lowest risk possible when it comes to crypto. Even lower than that could just be holding 100% crypto or 100% Bitcoin, and you'd be considered a Bitcoin maximalist. But for the majority of us out there, you also want to build your money to be a bit higher. So also spreading the risk across Ethereum as well is a good bet in my opinion. So Ethereum currently trading at around $1,200, and it is considered a bit of a blue
doing the
chip
same thing
when it comes to crypto.
When it
comes to crypto, ultimately you don't have to look at the price.
Crypto.
Don't look at the price. Have a look at the market cap when it comes to cryptocurrencies. So Ethereum is pretty much half
Doing it so
of
intentionally.
Bitcoin's market cap, and is ultimately what's the multiplier of that market cap when it comes to a crypto portfolio. That's super important when looking into that as well. Having a look into the ecosystem of Ethereum, there's a lot of things that it has to offer when it comes to dApps, so decentralized apps. So moving on to a medium risk portfolio, there's different ways of going about it. Ultimately, it is at 50 split between Bitcoin and Ethereum, and then also top 20. So when you have a look at CoinMarketCap, your top 20 are usually the ones that are have great teams, great white papers, great communities, and have continued to build during this bear market, during this crypto winter, which is super important. So personally, this is just again a personal choice of mine. I would not choose Dogecoin because it is a meme coin, and that does hold that higher risk to that, and that would be something you'd hold potentially in your high risk portfolio. But in your medium risk, I would stay away from that. When it comes to the stable coins, you can hold some stable coins if you want to. That is also possible. I mean, these portfolios don't take into account stable coins. They just take into account a pure crypto holding. So something like XRP, for example, is again sort of a medium risk because of the SEC lawsuit that's happening for XRP, that has a potential higher reward or higher return in the future. So that's a big thing. Cardano as well, likewise, they're not being sued by the SEC, but they're not being sued at all, but they're also developing the network and trying to find that adoption rate. That is super important. And then also others as well. I mean, Solana has had a huge difficulty recently with their network. So again, the risk is starting to increase the further down you go into the list on CoinMarketCap. So then moving on to your high...
God, dude, just sitting with me. Whoa, dude, look at what's going on with crypto right now, guys. 8:45. Sitting with me on any live stream, average live stream, you're going to get so much more information than listening to something like this. This is just bullshit, dude.
Big Mac 83.
He only mentions fucking like 6 or 7 cryptos, and the ones that he mentions, I mean, Bitcoin and Ethereum are, yeah, they're big and shit. But he doesn't get into Polygon, Matic. He doesn't get into Harmony One, dude. He doesn't talk about Polkadot. He doesn't talk about any of the metaverse coins. Merit Circle. Or fucking doesn't talk about Luna. He doesn't. It's like it was such a almost like an intentional neglecting of what should have been discussed. How to build your portfolio. Here's my portfolio. This is why I picked this one. This is why I picked this one. Here's my portfolio. This is how much I have in my portfolio. This is why. You get that with on my live stream all the time, man. We've gone through it before. Shit, it's on the screen. Everything that I have is listed right here. And I don't have all of this. I monitor a lot of things that I don't hold. But everything I have is here. Oh, God, so many fucking things in the portfolio that I think are important that he didn't even consider mentioning. He just broke it down in such a lame way. Isn't this supposed to be the chat right here? Yeah. I never ate lunch today. My mom's in there grunting like a caveman.
Casper Schizo. You could make crypto vids for beginners like you did W Cannabis.
Yeah, I could. I just don't want to. Mm-hmm.
Casper Schizo. Lol, fair enough.
Trump fumes. This is funny. Trump fumes that Kanye tried to fuck him over with Nick Fuentes dinner. Like Kanye, he intentionally brought Nick Fuentes to Mar-a-Lago because he knew. Whoa, dude! Look at crypto. Because he knew. Look at this, guys. I'm bringing this to you live. Hey, Casper Schizo, this is why you watch my show, bro. Right there. I bring it to you while it's happening. Look at this.
Winnet Muncher. You are looking so much younger, brother. Hope you are doing well.
Thanks, you win it. You guys.
Casper Schizo. Yup.
Actually, I want to move this. Oh, if you double click it, you can move it. That's how it works. Okay. Perfect. Okay, great. Wow, man. Holy shit.
Billy Valentine. Crypto videos for amputee Italian carpenters. Now that's a niche. Casper Schizo. I was watching comments on Racer, people were saying this would happen.
On This is happening right now, bro. It looks like it's going to try to go through again through 900 again. This was crazy. I mean, that was just a whoa. Here it goes again. It's just like this.
Billy Valentine.
There's a drop in value and
Rusty
volume.
the Clown predicted this in 1954.
There's a drop in value and volume all the way across the board right now, guys. It's all coinciding on every single one. So we're about to have a spike upwards even more. It's like this was just a reconsolidation, a quick one, and now all of the volumes are about to turn green. I kind of want to get off out of the way so you can see it happen when these volume bars all go green. Here we go. Okay, watch.
Casper Schizo. Pump, pump.
Watch here, 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 right here, here, and here for green bars all the way across the board. We should get yellow markers. When that happens, we'll get the green bars, then yellow markers above. All the way across the board. Should happen right now. Get ready for it. See this red line? It's going to get tall, then it's going to flip green. Should happen on every single one. Here we go. Here we go. Get ready. Here goes Cardano, Matic, and Bitcoin are all leading right now. Giant red spikes are going to flip green. Here we go. Get ready. There's a yellow marker on Bitcoin. There it is. Here comes the green spike on Bitcoin. Green marker on Ethereum. And Matic and Cardano should go green as well below. Even it looks like Binance on the far right have that drop in volume, drop in value. It's coinciding. It always leads to a pump upwards. Here's that yellow marker on Bitcoin. Let's just wait for those volume spikes to hit. Now here's yellow markers, green volume, and not a lot of volume, guys. And I wasn't. I thought this was going to spike way more, and it's not. I really thought we were going to get really big green spikes of volume, like just dominating. it could still happen, but there's Ethereum. Ethereum keeps it up. All right, so waiting for these spikes to go from red to green. Here, this one on Ethereum looks like it's going to go right now. Look at Ethereum. Look at Ethereum pushing all the other ones down. That's going to flip green. Here comes Cardano, it looks like, and Bitcoin as well. Lots of volume, lots of volume. Yellow markers, looking for those big green spikes below, though. It's a long slope down, but the volume sloping down with the value always leads to a dramatic spike upwards. And we're going to get it. It's building up right now. It's just tapering down, probably doing a wedge pattern, and it's just going to finish the wedge pattern and
Casper
shoot up.
Schizo. I got the basic idea how this works, but the terms people use I need to learn.
There's a really cool video on YouTube. It'll go over all the patterns and what they result in. Look at Cardano. Oh, here comes Harmony 1. Let's see if Ethereum and Bitcoin do anything. I mean, it should just go bow, bow. They should just go right up to the top and push everything down. Like Harmony 1 is really producing a lot of volume. Not a high bottom, though, on those candles. That is a bad sign. We need a high bottom on that next candle. There we go. It's a higher bottom. That's good. $900s. We're up into the 900s, guys. We got a minute to work, man. You got to work inside that 900 for 60 seconds. $924, $931. Okay, here comes a nice. I think we're gonna get a high.
1 minute.
We're gonna get a high bottom. These are 1 minute candles we're watching below. So we can determine basically what the next move is going to be by just looking at what the candles look like. And so we're looking for the bottom of the next candle to form, and if it's high up like that, that's good. That's a trend going upwards, meaning it might keep going up if the bottom stays high. Now it's got another minute to get higher, is what I mean when I say that. And get a higher bottom to get a trend that's moving up higher. If the bottom there, see, it goes purple. So if the bottom gets lower, which it's going to do now, that's a trend for going down. So that was the pump, man. We just had it. It was nice.
Okay.
Now we got to see if it's a reconsolidation and if it keeps going up. Just a quick little flutter and then boom, just keep going upwards. We're still above 900. That's up. Not anymore. Now we're below 900. We were watching Bitcoin a few months ago when everything was dropping, and we were seeing fluctuations of $100 every second on Bitcoin.
Billy Valentine. Tattooing my fingers. Should have done it before my skin aged. Hard as fuck.
Ouch, 900, guys. When Bitcoin hits 900, if it can stay above 900, it'll move the whole market up. Man, Matic is getting really close to 88 cents again. I need it to be at 90 cents. But the fact that Bitcoin right now is up at 16.8, this is where I made my last purchase, basically. So I'm just entering my profit zone, you know.
Casper Schizo. You know ya want to.
Your skin's aged, so now it's hard to do because your skin's aged, tattooing your fingers. What are you putting on your fingers, Billy? What are you tattooing on them? 901, guys, 900. 911. It just jumped $10.
Casper Schizo. Now stay there.
Yeah, right. Like get above 900 and stay there and work the rest of the market up. Okay, Matic's about to hit 88 cents. 87.95. 87.96.
Billy Valentine. My wife's name. Surrounded by trees, roots that lead to my sleeve.
And that is a very inside statement, I believe. 87.93, man. Matic, 87.93. 88 cents, man. Matic just hit 88 cents. And it goes back under to 87.98. 88 cents again. 88.01. 88.02 Matic. Down to 87.99. $87.97. 88.01. 88.02. 88.06. 88.11. 88.09. Oh shit, it's a pump. Look at Ethereum. 12.79. Everything except for frickin' why can't Binance play ball? Look at this, Cardano. 31.31 Cardano. 88.21 Matic. 9.33 Bitcoin, guys. $9.36. Look at Ethereum. 12.79. Matic is at 88.24. Bitcoin's at 9.40. 9.44. 9.44. 9.45. 9.40. 88.35 Matic. And Harmony's doing nothing still at 14.40. This is a crazy market pump right here, guys. Crazy. Live on the show. I want to get this all off the screen. I want you guys to see this pump that I'm bringing to you live. This is across the board. Let's check the whole market. The only thing that's down is Luna, VRA, and Overland. Everything else is in the green. The highest one right now is FTM.
Casper Schizo. They were saying this would happen, now I'm seeing it. I didn't really understand, but everyone was stoked.
So, what, I guess, did Jeremy Powell have his speech today yet? Jerome? Let's look and see if he did his speech. Dow dips ahead of Powell's speech. $1:30 p.m. Eastern. So he just spoke. This is it.
Casper Schizo. So this is in reaction to whatever he said.
I don't know. Maybe May have been good news. History says inflation could persist for a decade. It says watch the video here.
Curve. If you think about risk-free, the
Are
Treasury
we still
rate
speaking
curve,
live?
we'll look to see positive, significantly positive real rates across the curve, and you have that. You can argue about the short end.
This is
but
live.
You pick some sort of a forward-looking reading for inflation. Inflation compensation in the markets definitely reflects confidence in us bringing down inflation. So you've got real rates really across the whole yield curve. You also look, though, at credit spreads and what are private companies borrowing at, because most borrowing doesn't happen at the federal funds rate. It happens in many other places. We look at asset prices. We look at exchange rates, which are just another asset price. We look at all those things, and we try to make a judgment about whether looking at put some weight on the real interest rate curve, some weight on the other aspects I talked about. I think you have to make a judgment at the end, though, that you're restricted.
So an estimate of the neutral rate of interest didn't seem to be one of the big factors in that list.
No, it's in there. It's in there in looking at the real rate curve. So you look at the real rate curve, you'd want policy real rates to be above what we'd estimate as the longer run neutral rate.
Mm-hmm.
The issue is, the longer run neutral rate is a rate at a time of full employment and 2% inflation and the economy in perfect equilibrium. That isn't where we are.
Yeah, I know this. I turn to the balance sheet for a minute. I'm going to turn to
967, guys. We might go to 17,000
What criteria are you
Bitcoin.
going to use to decide when to end the shrinking of the balance sheet? Is it the economy? Is it whether money markets are functioning well?
Holy moly.
Is it whether the Treasury is having trouble raising money? How do you decide when you've shrunk enough, when you end the shrinking?
So I should refer you to a document that lays all this out in detail that I really should be reading to you, but I'll paraphrase it.
976.
Exactly right.
No one will take
979, 981.
Relax.
So we're in an ample
982.
reserve regime. And what that means is that,
Dude, once it hits 17,000, we are $77 away from the 24-hour high.
More than enough.
And we're going to go right past it.
So we're not close to reserve.
This is a massive market pump, guys. I'm bringing it to you live. Nays Garden, live market pump.
Somewhat above the
This
level that we
is
think
huge.
I'm not even invested yet, lol.
with an ample, with scarcity.
Right.
And then
Dude.
for a while, what you do is you hold the balance sheet constant, and non-reserve liabilities grow while reserves
I'm at
shrink.
Nays
So we sort of
Garden on
shrink
Twitter,
gradually
everybody.
down to
If
that.
you're
And then
looking
at a
for
certain
me,
point, we're just gonna call it.
at
We're not looking to
naysgarden.com.
really go back into proving.
You find me all
that
over
they're
social
scarce,
media,
because what
Nays
happens
Garden.
is, and you saw this back a few years, the demand for reserves is not stable, and it can move up and down very substantially. So we want to stop at a place that's safe. Having a lot of reserves in the system is really a good thing. It's really a public benefit to have plenty of reserves, plenty of liquidity in the markets and in the banking system, the financial system in general. So that's how we would do it.
In the minutes, the
Dude,
last
what is that
FOMC
messaging
meeting,
sound?
it said the staff had a forecast that does not forecast below potential growth, but not a recession. But then there was this interesting sentence where the staff said the possibility that the economy would enter a recession sometime over the next year is almost as likely as their baseline forecast. Is that where you look at it?
So I have resisted the temptation to handicap it.
Go on.
I think I'll continue to do that. But I get the way
17,000, guys.
I do
$77. 17,000. $77
And the definition of a softish landing is
is
what?
the
Unemployment goes up a
24-hour
little, but we
high.
don't have a
We're going to
recession.
go right past it.
Unemployment goes up, but it's not a hard landing. It's not a severe recession. You can think of
My whole
unemployment going up, but
portfolio
not
just went up over
really
$1,000 in
spiking as
value.
it does in some recessions. So that's how I think about it, and I think the path is pretty clear. It's the labor market conditions soften. We see inflation, and the goods inflation gets better. Housing services inflation gets better. and the labor market softens but doesn't go into recession, and you see inflation start to come down. And I mean, I think that's very plausible. I don't want to be the handicapper on it. And, of course, our job is to try to achieve that. Mm-hmm. And I think it's still achievable. Although, if you look at the history, it's not a likely outcome. But I would just say this is a different set of circumstances.
So you said at the last press conference that you thought the path to that soft landing had narrowed. Has it continued to narrow, or is it widened, or I don't know if you can have a wider soft landing, but
I don't know that it's changed since that was.
Does it sound okay, or is it echoey?
I was asked the question: has it narrowed? Is it still possible? And has it narrowed? It's definitely still possible, and it has narrowed because if you look over the course of this year, nobody expected us to raise rates this much. No one expected inflation to be this strong and this persistent and this.
It's going to reconsolidate and go right past 17,000 again, guys. Watch this.
And so, the extent we need to keep rates higher or keep them higher longer, that's going to narrow the path to a soft landing. On the other hand, if we get good inflation data and we get evidence that all the things that I talked about, if all those things start to swing the other way, then we could very much achieve this.
In August 2020, you announced a new framework for monetary policy, the flexible average inflation targeting framework. And I wonder whether there's anything in that you think we should be rethinking now in light of the recent experience.
So we said we would do another framework review in 5 years. And so that would be to bear fruit in 25 or 26. So that's what we're going to do. We're going to stick to that. I think we need to see this through a full cycle. We need to see the other side of inflation and what the economy looks like after this historic episode to really make good judgments about that. I will say, though, that aside from the framework itself, we implemented it through guidance of various kinds. And we put in really strong guidance because there were a lot of doubters that we would ever achieve 2%.
Here comes 17, guys.
That was the main criticism.
Boom, 17,000. There it is.
But one piece of guidance that we gave was, and I don't think this had anything to do with or much to do, let's say it that way. It didn't have much to do with all this inflation we're experiencing. But the one piece of guidance that we gave that I probably wouldn't do again is we said we wouldn't lift off until we saw both maximum employment and price stability. And I don't think I would do that again, because
Harmony's not moving.
I think it limited. It's the tail risk. We tend as human beings to underestimate tail risk, and I think we didn't think. It seemed so unlikely. If you remember, 25 years of low inflation,
right,
and many years after the pandemic, after the global financial crisis of inflation everywhere in the world, it's all disinflation. Just didn't seem likely, and yet here we are.
So it turns out that when you invite the chairman of the Federal Reserve to speak at Brookings, a lot of people email you questions. Most of them are questions I've already asked.
Are you going to regulate crypto?
So poorly framed that I couldn't even understand the question. But somebody asked me this one, and so I want to give that person an opportunity to get an answer. What do you like to do in the morning before you start work?
Oh, come on. Fucking what an idiot.
No, I'm a super early person, and I read a bunch of newspapers and.
Really, I'd like to find the person that asked that question and punch him in his fucking face.
You still ride your bike to the.
Some, yeah.
Wow.
I ride.
Wow, really, dude?
But I do.
Yeah.
That's the question you asked.
The security guys, thank you.
You have the chance to ask him a question, and that's what you ask him.
Yeah.
Fucking idiot.
So here's the deal.
WTF.
From the audience, you need to wait for a microphone to get to you because we have a lot of people online. You need to say who you are, and you need to remember that this is not an opportunity for you to make a speech or tell the Fed what it should do. It should be a question. It should be short, and questions end with a question mark.
Casper Skipson.
So,
Yep, long.
come down here. Want somebody, Joe, and then Jonathan.
Thank you. Joe Beaulieu from Brevin Howard. So you've spoken both about risk management considerations and the inherent danger of inflation becoming entrenched. So I was wondering, how much do risk management considerations suggest a terminal rate higher than would normally be expected to achieve your policy goals?
So I think there are a number of dimensions, and it wouldn't necessarily one of them would be potentially higher rate, but more I would think. One risk management technique is to go slower, right? To go slower and feel your way a little bit to what we think is the right level. Another is to hold on longer at at a high level, and not you know, loosen policy too early. I don't want to over tighten. Certainly, my colleagues and I do not want to over tighten because, you know, I think that cutting rates is not something we want to do soon. So that's why we're slowing down and, you know, going to try to find our way to what that right level is. But I mean, theoretically, it's another dimension, but it's not. It wouldn't be my first choice.
A lot of volume, guys.
Jonathan?
Ethereum might get up to 1,300.
Yeah, Jonathan Pingle with UBS.
1291.
So I had a question about the imbalance between labor supply and labor
89-cent Matic,
demand.
89.70 Matic, guys.
When we look at and discuss the labor force participation rate, is there is a
dude,
pronounced
Matic is almost at
trend
90
to
cents.
Population aging. So when you think about realigning labor supply and labor demand, are FOMC officials hoping or expecting that participation really moved back up all the way to a pre-COVID peak? And related to that is, you know, the follow-on question, you know, how much of the realignment do you think needs to be done through restricting labor demand as opposed to the ability of supply to catch up?
So on labor force participation, I think it's useful to go back, you know, 10 years, and the forecast that mainstream labor economists had was that, and you're right, aging of the population leads to declining labor force participation. Notwithstanding that, labor force participation was in effect flat
guys.
and a little bit up from 2013 to 2020, roughly. And that was because you had a
$30 away from the 24-hour
People were staying
high
in the labor market longer than expected. That was really what it was.
42.
So our ability to predict is
43.
not perfect in this, except over long periods of time, you have an aging population, so you're probably going to have declining labor force participation.
40.
I don't think it's reasonable to expect that we get all
41.
the way back to where we were with labor force
50,
participation
41,
in
40,
2020.
49.
It's 63.7,
53.
I guess, population adjusted. I don't see
55.
that, but
60, guys.
We're nowhere near that now. You know, we're
60.
a point and a half below
It's
that now.
it's so close to 77.
The real question is, do we expect to see big chunks of labor force participation? I got to say, this year we've seen, in the aggregate, not much.
Ethereum just hit its 24-hour high, guys, 1295.
So,
and I just brought it to you live. All of these are 24-hour highs.
Matic,
89.93, just hit 90 cents. Matic just hit 90 cents.
A big part of the shortfall in
24-hour high, 90 cents.
So given population trends, given that there's still some workers are clearly anxious about going to work during COVID, and given that immigration is well below the levels that were projected before the pandemic, does most of the balancing have to come on the demand side?
Well,
89.99.
We have to assume that.
Matic's 89.99.
That's why I talked about, you know, supply side policies on labor, although they're not for us to recommend.
9. There it is, 90-cent Matic, guys. That's this one right here, 90-cent Matic.
So yeah, the answer is yeah. I mean, I kind of said that in my speech.
That is now the high, 007.
What it takes to restore balance.
Bringing you the high of Matic, 24-hour high of Matic. While Jerome Powell speaks, live at Nay's Garden.
Really just by slowing job growth.
You're getting this live at Nay's Garden, guys. Holy moly.
Thank you. Joe Gagnon, Peterson Institute. Chair Powell, back in 2018, you gave a speech questioning the role of the so-called star variables that the Fed uses to navigate. And there was this possibility raised that maybe unemployment could fall well below what the staff thought the natural rate U star was. Then, without causing inflation. But then COVID came and turned everything around. And as you just said, one interpretation of COVID is that U star went way up and we were on the wrong side of it, which is inflationary. My question is, going forward, is it likely, do you think it's likely that things could reverse as the dust settles from COVID and we could end up back in that world where maybe we're on the other side of U star, we don't know it, it's hard to tell. What lessons did you learn from that period that got forgotten because of COVID, perhaps?
Well, unemployment went below so what we write down and what the staff writes down is a longer run U star, longer run estimate of the natural rate of unemployment. I guess one thing I would say is that during the course of a long, relatively gradual I mean, so we only have one experience,
Casper
right, to
Schizo.
generalize from. But
I
what
came
learned
back
from
at
that
the right
experience
time,
was
man, lol.
long,
I was already
relatively
just
slow,
coincidentally getting into
not
this
super
stuff.
fast
Oh, yeah.
expansion. You really saw the natural rate of unemployment, the shorter term natural rate, come way down. We had 3.5% unemployment with really little sign. Wages were just getting up to that level of productivity and 2% inflation. So we could be back in that place. I think we could certainly be back in that place. But what we've seen, you know, it's another N=1 situation with the pandemic. It's also unique. I would also point out, though, we did see the inflation we saw at the beginning. We did have natural rate of unemployment go up probably significantly. But the original inflation we saw was not to do with the Phillips curve, with the labor Phillips curve. It was not to do with that. It was to do with goods more.
So I think another way to frame Joe's question is, I think a lot of us thought that the lesson we learned when unemployment fell very far and we didn't get inflation, that maybe over time, before you were in charge, the Fed was erred on the side of being too tight. It was too worried about the unemployment rate falling. And I think the concern is that
51,
will we
58,
fight the last war? And because of this
63,
experience, the Fed will be reluctant
67,
to experiment.
we're $10
with a low
away,
rate of
74,
unemployment.
74, 82, we're through. That's the 24-hour high of Bitcoin right there, guys. We now hit $17,088. Ethereum at 1297, 24-hour high.
Claudia Sam?
Harmony 1, 24-hour high, 1460. Matic, 24-hour high, 9012.
So the question I had is, we've
Casper
had
Schizo.
unexpectedly fast and large rate increases this year, and that has pushed up the dollar relative to basically any currency in the world. We've seen likely more financial market instabilities. So the Federal Reserve's dual mandate is for the United States, and yet are you worried that a severe
Ethereum's
global
trying to get
recession
back
or
up to
financial market
1300,
turmoil
man.
will come back to make it harder for
This will be huge if it gets to
achieve the
1300.
U.S. dual mandate?
And if
So
we
we
hit
do-
17,100 on
we do, of
Bitcoin,
course,
it's 90 right now.
Look at global developments.
These are
we have
real
a
big
domestic mandate, of
benchmarks.
course, as every central bank does. But
17,100,
in this world, global financial
$1,300
markets and the global
Ethereum.
economy
That's what
really
we're going
matter
for.
us. So we monitor all
$4
that
away on
very
Ethereum,
carefully.
$5 away on Ethereum, $20 away
We
on
really
Bitcoin.
think, and my colleagues and I really think, that the best thing we can do
$24.
for ourselves and for the global economy is to get inflation under control as quickly as possible. We don't think the
Dude,
world's
it's
going to be
about
a
to hit
better
100.
place if we take our time and inflation becomes entrenched, and then we have to delay
17,099,
later.
guys.
The
That's going to be a
evidence is that
benchmark.
the employment costs
Here we go.
of
Here we go. We're trying to do
bringing
it. Here we go.
inflation down only rise with delay.
Here we go.
So
There it is. 17,100, and we're through.
We don't want to do any more than
Boom.
we have to do, but we feel
Benchmark.
like as a
Ethereum's
risk
going to go up to
management,
$1,300 now.
matter,
Watch this.
We needed to do what we did, and
Here it goes.
I feel like we're now in a place,
297,
again, as I said,
298,
where we can slow down
297,
and try to reach
297,
that ultimate level.
113
But how
Bitcoin,
much do you worry
103,
about
109,
Claudia's
296 on
question was
Ethereum, 109.
We do something with rates. Other people are forced
Under
to do
100,
things with
103,
rates.
back over
that
100.
ends up spilling back
95,
to us.
under
It makes
100.
it harder for you to do it. So you
109,
have to take that in
105,
into consideration.
We
111,
absolutely believe that we take that into
113.
consideration. The models
Polygons at
explicitly
90
take it into
cents and
consideration.
holding.
Of course, they're not perfect. No one can say
90,
we
10,
do it
90, 10,
perfectly,
90,
but
11.
we have a
Ethereum's
very
at
large
1298.
global model that we use for the global economy.
101 on
absolutely
Bitcoin, 105.
takes into account what's
111.
happening with the real economy and
1298,
monetary
1298 on
tightening
Ethereum,
and
guys.
currency and all those things. It won't be perfect,
90
but we
cent
do that.
Polygon
And
matting.
we also sort of understand generally that you can, there's a lot of research and things. People are talking about this a lot right now. That maybe the whole is bigger than the sum of the parts when it comes to tightening. Maybe it is. Maybe it isn't.
299.
Here,
man. Ethereum's at 304.
But again,
here it goes.
I come back to
here it goes.
Look where we are.
We're gonna hit 1,300. Ethereum.
375 basis points. Markets are working.
Casper Schizo. As if this is happening right now.
We're in a place where we really can get inflation under control, and we haven't. Unemployment's at 3.7%. So we haven't done. I don't regret getting to where we are, and I think.
Dude, here we go. 1299 Ethereum.
To get this over quickly.
1,300 Bitcoin, man. There it is on screen. 1,300 Bitcoin.
Stand up so the mic can find you.
17,136, man. $1,300 Bitcoin. 17,131 Bitcoin.
If they're short.
Ethereum hit 1,300.
So
drop
one
back
question
down.
on the labor market is, how do you reconcile
this should propel
the characterization
everything.
of the labor market is very tight with the fact that wage growth isn't
now
keeping
the
up with
fact that
inflation
Bitcoin's
and
over
the labor share of
1,700 is
GDP really
huge.
hasn't risen since 2020. And then second question is, how much credence or what kind of research do you rely on to think about the notion that a very tight labor market will lead firms to invest in and innovate and become more productive over time? Could that be a tailwind?
1299 Ethereum, 1299.34, 72.
I wrote those down really fast.
1299.36.
That was the problem with reading my handwriting.
1298.59.
You asked about.
See, well, the labor market is tight, but wages are not rising faster than inflation.
Okay.
And the labor share of GDP, which has been depressed for some time, hasn't really started to rise. So how do you put that into your thinking?
So, naturally, we understand that real wages are not going up for most people. But to me, that isn't the
298, 299.
That's true, but it's
300,
not really dispositive.
323.
I think
299.55.
the issue really is that it's one of salience, really. So at what point do people start saying,
Here we go, 299.18.
You know, my real wages are going down. You're giving me these 6% wage increases, but inflation is 7.7%.
299.26,
I need more of that. So we don't really know when that point is. But when you get to that point, you're in serious trouble. And we don't think we're at that point, but it can't be that we can go on for 5 years.
We broke 17,000
at very
on
high
this
levels
live stream,
of
man.
inflation, and that it doesn't work its way into the wage and price setting process pretty quickly. So that's a serious concern. So on the second question, yes, no, I think we're seeing that. You know,
Ethereum's got to get back over 1,300 though, and it's
you're
just
going to see. You know, this labor shortage that we have, as I mentioned, it
Matic
look
is
like it's
still
going away
at 90 cents and 92.
Absolutely,
90.84.
Certain to lead to a lot of investment in technology
90.72.
and labor replacement technology where there isn't labor, and I think you'll see quite a bit of that, and could it be a dividend
63,
going down the road? I would think it'll have to be to provide
Bitcoin's under 17,100, 98, 95.
Thanks, Mike Feroli, JP Morgan.
98.
So you spoke about going somewhat restricted
101,
and staying there for
102.
a long time. Why would you prefer that over a shock and awe approach?
Ethereum's at 12.99 again. 12.98.
I asked that because there's some evidence that sacrifice ratios are lower in a more
90 cent Matic.
I think we've been pretty aggressive, I would say. No, I don't.
90.83.
I don't agree. I mean, we wouldn't, to just raise rates and try to crash the economy and then clean up afterward. I wouldn't take that approach at all. I think we're in a position where the right thing to do is to move really quickly as we have, and now slow down and get to that place where we think we need to be. And by the way, there's high uncertainty around that. We have a broad set of thoughts about where that destination might be, but we could be wrong. It can be higher than that, could even be lower than that. We'll have to see. But I think that's the right approach, and that's also the approach that it would allow us not to throw away the option value of upending a lot of lives, which we would do if we crashed the economy and raised it. We might get rid of inflation, but at very high human cost.
There's a question in the very back, a woman in front of the camera. Do you want to stand up? Thanks.
Thank you so much for seeing me in the back here. Nancy Marshall-Genzer from Marketplace. Just wondering, Chair Powell, is the Fed in danger of neglecting its maximum employment mandate? Is the maximum employment mandate taking a back seat to the stable prices or inflation mandate?
No, absolutely not. Absolutely not. The thing is this: without stable prices, we can't have maximum employment, and that's how I think about it, and I think my colleagues as well. In the sense that if you're constantly fighting off inflation and having these battles and having to raise rates, and it goes on for 5 or 10 years, as
Harmony's finally at
you're not going to have
14.50.
maximum employment.
Bitcoin's under 17,100.
The situation we would love is to have another one of these very long expansions, and we've had 4 of them now in the last several decades. Really, when inflation was low after the 70s, we got out of the habit of these short inflation-driven business cycles, and we were able to reach. You saw where we were 3.5% unemployment those are really good for
Bigfoot.
very beneficial.
I want to rub my balls on this banker's face.
The benefits start to go to people at the
Bigfoot.
lower end
It's
of the
Jerome
spectrum
Powell,
in
man. It's the head of the United States Fed.
So I think
I mean, I agree with you on the whole rubbing the balls on his face
the labor
thing,
market is
but
incredibly
he's not really
strong. Again,
you know,
before this thing, we've never had
he's like the
1.7
head
job
banker, I
openings
guess.
for every unemployed person. So this is a great labor market.
He's trying to save
Billy Valentine.
Great in a way
Be
because
ha 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 ha.
He's trying to save our economy, you know.
Time for one more. In the back, gentleman on the aisle. Right, two questions. Two gentlemen on the aisle. Keep them short.
Thank you. I'm Orange Wang from South China Morning Post of Hong Kong. So I would just like to ask a question related with Chinese economy. So right now, a lot of analysts are arguing or believe that China's zero COVID policy is continuing to take a toll on the Chinese economy, but also likely to weigh on the global economy due to the size of China's market and its position in the global supply chain. So we're just wondering about what impact or how much impact do you expect that continuously slowing Chinese economy would have on the U.S. economy or the Fed's next interest rate moves?
That's
and
an interesting question.
Is China's current economic situation a disinflationary factor or a inflationary factor to the U.S.? Thanks.
I guess I'd just say that to the extent China's having shutdowns in the parts of the country and the parts of the economy that are deeply connected to global supply chains, that's going to make those supply chains less efficient, less effective, and so that will have an effect on the prices of some of these goods that are manufactured or assembled in China. So it does have an implication for the U.S. It's hard to say how big that will be without knowing how persistent, how long these lockdowns take place for.
The gentleman behind you.
Thank you. Evgeny Shego with Public Citizen. I was wondering how you think about the trade-off of restrictive policy and the supply constraints you mentioned. So in particularly when it has negative effects, say, on housing production that makes it harder to meet housing demand, or on the congressional investment through the Inflation Reduction Act in climate change mitigation and in energy policy that will make energy cheaper long term. How do you think about that trade-off?
I don't think our restrictive policy would have much
100
of an effect
again,
on
guys.
Sort of climate mitigation.
It's over 100.
You're talking about in terms of
now, if Ethereum
housing,
can get
there are two things. One, there's sort of a longer run housing shortage that we have.
And we're going up.
In the meantime,
if you can't get 1,300, we got trouble.
Coming out of the pandemic, rates were very low. People wanted to buy houses. They wanted to get out of the cities and buy houses in the suburbs because of COVID. And so you really had a housing bubble. You had housing prices going up at very unsustainable levels and overheating and that kind of thing. So now the housing market's going to go through the other side of that.
Polygon Matic
come out in a better place.
Amazing comeback.
None of this really affects the longer run issue, which is that we've got a built up country and it's hard to get zoning, it's hard to get housing built in sufficient quantities to meet the public's demand.
So I want to thank you, Chair Powell, for being generous with your time, and thank you all for coming.
Wow, that's it.
I want to appreciate everybody asked a short question, which that's the first time in my experience in 8 years in Brookings that's happened. I'd like it for all of you to stay in your seats for a minute till the chairman can leave safely. And if you have paper, coffee cups or something, take them to the back of the room and dispose of them on site. So thank you very much.
So, with all that being said, what's up, everybody? Welcome into the stream. Well, markets reacting pretty positively to that. S&P up almost 2% on the day. NASDAQ up 3.3%. And Dow is up over 1% on the day. So, there we go. Sorry about that. Yeah. So pretty big. Oh, y'all can't see me. There we go. Pretty big day here for the markets as a whole. Jerome Powell saying some pretty bullish things, saying some, well, obviously nothing's new in terms of what their goals are. Nothing is 2% long term. All their goals that they have, nothing's new there. But possibly slow down in the rate hikes moving forward in December. For those that are curious, if we look at the probability of the next rate hike, which is December 15th or 14th, 15th, 77% probability that we see a 50 basis point hike and a 23% probability that we see a 75 basis point hike. So potentially 50, potentially 75. More than likely, market is guessing a 77% probability of a 50 basis point hike. So, yeah, I was watching crypto. Bitcoin's over 17,000 now. Bitcoin is over 17,000.
I just told him to look at crypto.
Ethereum's up over almost 1,300. So Bitcoin up 2% in the last hour. Ethereum up 2.6% in the last hour. So we will see if the market holds. Market closes here in about an hour and 1/2. But market seeing a little bit of a pullback, still up over 3%, but slowly pushing down towards that 3% for the NASDAQ. So we will see what happens. I will be live tomorrow morning, like I am every single morning.
He just responded to what I said to him,
see what's going on. Yeah, I don't think this rally is like the end all be all. So I don't think this is.
That was pretty cool.
The bottom. I don't think this is. I think it's a little rally based on some news.
Investor.
And you know, I don't think it'll last. But who knows? You never know. I'll buy every single Friday like I always do. But that is Jerome Powell, Poppy Powell's speech. Thanks everyone for watching. Thanks for being here. I stream every single morning, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday when the stock market is open. And I stream some important information such as Jerome Powell speeches. So thanks everyone for joining in. Thanks for being here. I will see everyone tomorrow morning at stock market open. Bye-bye.
Huh. Okay. Wait. Live here now, folks. Let's see if some people want to come over. I got that off just before.
From New York City for our viewers.
Just before the chat ended, man. I told everybody I was live, but I don't know. Yeah, we'll see if some people come over. We still got the market going. You know? Talking crypto, talking this freaking massive spike, man. What just happened with the Jerome Powell, I like to call him Jeremy Jerome. With the Jeremy Jerome Powell speech, and crypto immediately responded. So there was a spike this morning, and we covered that live. And then I go live again, and boom, this thing hits while we're live again. Great timing, I must say. But the problem is, I mean, it was a great jump, man. But it needs to get over a couple of Bollinger Bands, and I'm very aware of where those are. And it hit them and bounced down. So hopefully it'll try to get through it again and keep going up. Well, if we see a drop in volume and value right here, we kind of see it. And yellow markers, looks like it's going to try to attempt to go through again. Let's see if it does it. Okay, so what we're looking for is we've got 90-cent Polygon. That's good. That's good. What we're looking for is 17,100 Bitcoin and $1,300 Ethereum. So let's see. We're going to try to do it again right now. Let's see what happens. 77, 290. $70. $74. 75.
Casper Schizo. Farkan Crypto Bray.
Tell me about it. Tell me about it. 74, 291. 78, 291. 82. 75, 290, 'That was a hell of a pump, man. I'm afraid it was just a single pump. It really has to get above 17.1 and 13. It really needs to get above those points. But I don't see it coming back down. I really don't. It'll be interesting to see what Harmony 1 does. It's at 1450. And I'm so glad to see Polygon at over 90 cents. God, that's good to see. All right, guys, I'm going to call this show. I hope you enjoyed it. It was more than an hour. Yes. Looks like an hour and a half show we did. We got Bitcoin over 17,000. We'll see if it stays there. I'll see you guys tonight right back here. And in the meantime, I'm at Nays Garden on Twitter. I'll be looking for you over there on Twitter. I'll be there tweeting and such about various things. You guys take care. Bye, everybody. Oh, and remember, I'm on Rumble at Nays Garden. I'll give you a link over there. Here's a link to the Rumble. So you can go join over there too and get notifications from Rumble. Notland's over there. Alright, bye guys.